Okay, so we want to get to solve this question from 9618 October November 2023. It's question number 6 from paper 2 variant 2. Yeah, so we will solve it in two ways. I found it interesting to be writing as a code, and also to be we will answer it first with the pseudocode as it wants us to do, then we'll actually probably create a Python code for it. Yeah, so we are being told that a procedure that is called CreateFiles will take two parameters. One, which is a string, which is representing a file name, then an integer representing the number of files to be created. Yeah. So we have now again the next part saying that the procedure will create the number of text files specified. So we are also being told that each file is given a different name, whereby each file name is formed by concatenating the file name with a suffix based on the file number. The suffix is always 3 characters. So, for example, if we call create files with text data 3, this will result in the creation of the 3 text files: test data 01, 001, test data 003, up to test data 003. They're saying that each file will contain a single line. For example, file test 0002 would contain the string "this is test data number 002." So write the pseudocode for CreateFiles. They're also telling us that assume both parameters are valid and the integer value is between 1 and 999 inclusive. Yeah. So they already told us that this is a procedure. So I'm just going to be going ahead and actually indicate that this is a procedure by writing the keyword procedure like this. Saying procedure, I put in the name of the procedure is called CreateFiles. This. And CreateFiles takes in two parameters. So it takes in the first parameter is the file name. So I'll just take a file name like this. File name, which is a string, this. Then we also have the number of files. So I can just say number of files like this. And this is going to be coming through as an integer. As an integer like this. Okay, let me just put the full name, integer like this. Right, and I know that at the end of this I just need to create my I just need to go ahead and end my file, right? My end procedure. So I'll just say end procedure already like this. So everything else that I need to put is supposed to be coming through within like this. So what I have to do is check this part. I will leave this space for my declarations. We're being told that we're supposed to be creating the number of files specified. So if we have 3 here, we're supposed to be creating 3 files. So before I go any step further, I know that I need to be getting into a loop, right? So I'll say for index, I'll declare index later on. So for index, right, in the range of starting from 1 up to, so index starting from 1 up to the number of files is the upper limit. Number of files like this is my upper limit. What I basically need to do now is that I need to go ahead and maybe the index is going to be coming through as a number here. So I need to create a suffix, right? I need to create a suffix for each and every number that I'm going to be dealing with. So I might need to actually check first of all, I might need to change my index into a string so that I can concatenate these guys, right? Into a string. So it's num. Right now it's a num. So I'll say num to string like this. It's the function that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be converting what? I'm going to be converting the index into a string such that I can now use the length function now. That if I can use an if statement, if the length of index if the length of index, because I want to create a suffix right now. So if the length of index is equal to 1, which means that we're saying that if we want to create a file that is probably from 1 to 9, if it is equals to, if the length of that index is equal to 1, which means we're still in the single digits, we need to go ahead and say our suffix, which is something that I'm going to be creating soon. Our suffix is going to be coming through to be equal to, I will put a string of what? Dot 0 0. Then we concatenate that now. We concatenate that now with the value of my index, because my index is now a string, so I can actually go ahead and actually do a concatenation for this. So here, let me just use the string, the pseudocode notation. So this is basically what I want to do. This is how my suffix is going to be looking like if the length is equals to, if the length of the index is equal to 1, right? Else to that now, let me just probably indent this. Else to this, I'm going to be doing another test again where I will say if the value, if the length now of index, if the length of index is not, let's say now is not equal to 2. So if it's equal to 2 now, I'm going to include the part where I say my suffix is going to be coming through with only 1 0, right? So my suffix is going to be coming through like this with dot 0 like this, and we concatenate that now with index as well, right? Else to this now, I can now go ahead and actually put the else with happiness, because we are already told that the value of the number of files is always valid. We can assume that it's always valid from 1 to 999. So else to this is if it's not, if the length is not 1, if it's not 2, then it's 3, right? So else to that now, we are saying that the suffix is just going to be coming through like dot without any 0, yeah? So the suffix is going to be coming through like this. The suffix is just going to be coming through like dot like this. Then we concatenate that with the index. That's basically what we have. So from here now, we can go ahead and actually end our if statements. So I can end this if, then I can surely end this original if. So right now, I've just gotten out of these of this selection statement because I now have a suffix that is valid. Yeah. So from that now, what I just now need to do is the part of creating the file. So my file name that I'm supposed to be using now, that I'm supposed to be creating, is supposed to be equal to the file name that I had originally, the one that I took as a parameter. It's now supposed to go to that file name that I took as a parameter, and I concatenate that now with the suffix. Basically, that's what I need to have. So from there now, I can now open my file now. Right? I can now say open file. The file that I'm opening is called file name. Then I'm opening it now for write, I mean to say, because I want to write a statement to it. Open file name that for writing to it, because I want to write a statement to it. After I've opened it, I will use the write file now. Write file function. So I'll say write file. The file that I want to write is called file name. And what I basically want to write is the statement that says what. I can go ahead and just put it like this. Still okay? Okay, let me just put it like this in brackets. But the brackets do not even matter as well. This is file. This is actually default. This is file. Then we now need to put the name of the file now. And file name like this. That's how the code is supposed to be looking like. Then at the end of the day, I can close this file now. Close file that is called file name. So what we basically end I will close that, open, close, then I will say next index, of course. Next index like this. So that I can actually allow myself to be getting the next value. So with this, I used some couple of variables that I need to declare here. So I'll just say declare. I used index. Index is going to be coming through as a string. What else did I use as a string? Nothing else was a string, right? So I declare index is an integer, I mean to say. I declare my string as an integer. I also declared suffix. Declare suffix, but suffix is treated as a wait a second. Suffix is treated as a string, right? Check this out. We have already said index is supposed to be coming through as an integer, but here we converted the index into something else. So let me just say this is string index. All right, string index is going to be coming through like this. So this value is the one that I'm supposed to be using on a couple of figures. So if the string index, coordinate with the string index, the string index, string index, string index here. Yeah, I think that's where I was supposed to be adjusting. This part is still okay because we want to change this index into a string. So I'll go ahead and actually put this part now to say string index, because we cannot say declare index as an integer then give it a value that is not an integer. That's going to be throwing an error. So yeah, that's basically what we had to be doing as far as this code is concerned. I don't know if there are any questions, but basically we are saying we want to create as many files. So suppose that we are going to be calling this now file name with 3. We were saying that we're going to be running from the range of 1 to 3. So we'll check if the suffix is supposed to be contained coming through with 2 zeros or with 1 0 or with not even a 0. So this is going to be the case now when our value is 999. When you're creating now the 999 file, we can just add a dot. Why? Because the length of my string of my index here is already 3, so there's no need of adding now another 0. But if it's 2, like numbers from 10 to 99 inclusive, they're going to be coming through with 1 0. Numbers coming from 1 to 9 inclusive are going to be coming through with 2 zeros. That's why we are saying from 0 to 9 they only have 1 digit. From 10 to 999 inclusive they have 2 digits. That's why we're saying the length is 2. Then otherwise the length is 3. So that's why we are saying now we need to be adding only the dot. That's basically what we have as far as all this part is concerned. That's how I could have answered this question. You can just go ahead and probably test it out and see if you did not get any part or if you need help in understanding it all. Right. The next thing that I'm going to be having is this code now in its Python state, but rather you can just go ahead and create it for me. And the next thing that you're going to be doing, we can actually probably revise it together. Yeah.